Okay, class, where we are now is to talk about hypoxia conditions. Hypoxia conditions. All right. Hypoxia, see, here's the PaO2, arterial. Hypoxia is too low oxygen in the tissues. Hypoxemia is too low oxygen in the blood. So hypoxia, too low in the tissues, hypoxemia in the blood. Normoxia, normal levels in the tissue. Hyperoxia, we talked about that, right? Here's some types of hypoxia. Here's some reasons for the tissues to have low oxygen. One is anemic hypoxia, which is very obvious. Not enough hemoglobin to properly carry the oxygen. Another one is ischemic hypoxia. Remember, ischemia is when there's a blockage, decreased blood supply, ischemia. Another one is histologic. The oxygen is getting to the tissues but cannot be utilized. Examples of poison such as cyanide, which uncouples the electron transport chain from the Krebs cycle. And then hypoxemia, something causing the blood not be able to pick up enough oxygen, which could be CO poisoning, too much carbon monoxide. So let's just see what we got. All right. So we go to histologic hypoxia. Histologic hypoxia. The oxygen gets to the tissue but cannot be utilized. Okay, what are some reasons for that? Mitochondrial disease. Mitochondria, which have their own DNA provided by individuals from the mom, suppose that happened. If you had a mitochondrial disease, the oxygen could be there, but it's not being utilized. The oxygen could be there, but it's not being utilized. This is a new thing, too. There's a lot of mitochondrial diseases out there we've found. Okay. Cyanide poisoning. The cyanide ion halts the cellular by inhibiting the enzyme in the mitochondria called cytochrome C oxidase. This enzyme is needed for the electrons so as to make ATP. See, so the oxygen's there. Cytochrome C is the last enzyme in the respiratory electron transport chain, and it just cannot work. You can't get the oxygen there. Okay? Carbon monoxide. Okay, here's something interesting. The affinity between hemoglobin and carbon monoxide is 230 times stronger than that between oxygen. That means, what does that mean to you? That means that if you were in a garage, door closed, and there was oxygen there and carbon monoxide would sit on that hemoglobin and knock oxygen off. Now, the thing about it, when it binds to that hemoglobin, it lights it up more than oxygen does. You know how you'll get red in the face if there's oxygen, but you'll get even redder, cherry red with carbon monoxide. Cherry red. Okay? So that's carbon. So in other words, it decreases the oxygen because it kicks it off. Carbon monoxide can also bind to myoglobin. It has a high affinity for that. It'll knock it off in muscle. So that carbon monoxide poisoning is very deleterious. And let's see what else we have. So we talked about that. We talked about hyperoxia condition, so I'm not going to speak on that. And then the retinopathy. So where that brings us to now is nitric oxide. I'm not going to say much on that. Nitric oxide is called endothelial-derived relaxing factor. Hemoglobin carries it, and what nitric oxide can do is cause vasodilation of blood vessels. So let's look at it. NO is also known as endothelial-derived relaxing factor. It's a vasodilator synthesized by endothelial cells. Nitric oxide only lasts a short while, but what it can do is relax these. As a matter of fact, nitric oxide is really the basis of Viagra in the male, because the erection is caused by vasodilation of the penis to give the erection, And this nitric oxide does that, and that's where the whole Viagra thing comes in. All right, we won't get into all of that there. So now where we are is a discussion of carbon dioxide transport. And what I'm going to do is start a whole new video to talk about carbon dioxide transport, okay?